Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the 6th season of the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Our motion today is African economies will leapfrog developed nation through the adoption of a cashless economy. We have Starehe Boys Center versus Parklands Arya. Who will take the day?
Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
From Parklands Arya Girls, my name is Safia Hassan, ready to propose the motion that says African economies will leapfrog developed nations by adoption of a cashless economy. First, we should ask ourselves, what is cashless economy? This is a situation where there is little or very low cash flow in a given society. Every other purchases and transactions will be made through electronic channels. For example, direct debit, electronic funds transfer, mobile payments, and multifunctional ATMs and internet banking. And what is to leapfrog? This is to get to a higher position in development according to this motion. On to my first point. In Sweden, statistics has it that theft reduced drastically in 2012 in comparison to 2008. This is because the Swedish bank adopted the cashless economy fully as a significant improvement in security that has immensely attracted investors outside. On to my second point, information technology. It plays an important role in changing about the sustainable development in every nation. Without an optimal use of information and technology, no country can attain a speed economic growth and development. And according to the Kosoko 7, the future of all businesses, particularly those in the service industry, lies in information technology. Therefore, the future is linked to the per-service influence of the information and technology. And therefore, for the sake of saving time and for the well-being of Africans, all of you should join me in proposing this motion, because it's quite evident that we need to adopt the cashless economy so as to improve our living standard. Think about it. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes.
To my opposers, I'm so sorrowful. But then, I'm still so heroic. I've come with a lifeboat to save you from the mere ocean of sheer thinking and ignorance about the reality. Croak, croak, here comes a frog. Its hind limbs are so fragile, yet it thinks it can leap over an elephant. My, oh my. And then my opposers tell me that they can use a hoverboard and give it to the frog so that it can leap over the elephant. Can it happen? I don't think so. Cash, solid. Cashless money, liquid. From Chemistry 101. If you want to change a substance from solids to liquids, you have to apply a lot of heat. A lot of it. The heat in this case, what is it? It is the effort required, the money injected in making it a success. A lot of it is required. The cost of implementation of cashless accounts, we have, according to the Intelcom director, Mr. Andrew Diamond, 45% of the landmass of Africa lacks mobile network connectivity, yet a gross 60% of the population is not connected to a high-speed network, which is in Kenya, 3G. But imagine in countries like Japan, they already have 5G. Really? Is cashless economy possible? Another thing, to add insult to injury, 38% of Africans are illiterate. And then back home in Kenya, 53 billion shillings were required to make the laptop project successful. If that is only the laptop project successful, yet since 2013 up to now, it hasn't yet been implemented, what about changing everything into cashless economy, credit cards, debit cards? How long will it take? Really? Look at Kenya, the power surges, cyber attacks, cascading bank failures, the list is endless. Poverty, there's little access to banking systems. Most Africans are dependent. The introduction of cashless economy, it will in short make them exclusively dependent on the government for handouts. Do you want another case of Sirikali Tafadhali? I guess not. As we proceed, cashless economies will make privacy a thing of the past because too much personal information is potentially being used for the wrong purposes. I mean, the states and businesses will know everything about their citizens, from where they go, what they do, and how they spend their money. Surely, are we not infringing into our freedom? In cashless economy, you're storing a lot of financial information online, a magnet to identity thieves. What will they do about it? Food for thought. Retirees, they suffer the grave consequences of bearing the brunt of being rich with their liquid savings, yet they cannot siphon them into their pockets. Why? They're illiterate. They don't know how to operate these things. Currency is identity. It represents I am Kenyan. In the spirit of identity, sovereignty, and unity. I see Jomo Kenyatta. I remember I'm Kenyan. So would you want to deplete it off? Think about it.
Rebuttals now. Proposition, you have 3 minutes.
To my fellow opposers, you're saying that the government is aware of how we spend our money. Don't you think that they would have already found the solution of where the Eurobond went? That is for you to answer. From Parklands Arya Girls High School, this is Anne Ateno, ready to propose the motion that says African economies will leapfrog developed nations by adopting a cashless economy. Now, on to my first point. The use of a cashless economy reduces theft cases. Why do I say this? This is because if a thief comes to steal from you, he or she will find no money on you, and therefore your money will be safe. And on to my second point, cashless system reduces the dangers of having losses. Why do I say this? The cashless system that we are going to adopt will be able to limit the amount of money that you are going to use in purchasing goods and services. Now on to my third point. There is formation of a custom union whereby the world agrees to become a global market. When this happens, the rate of exchange of currencies reduces, and therefore, when countries transact a business, both countries are able to develop from it. On to my fourth point. Adopting a cashless economy reduces the chances of colonialism and overdependence. Why do I say this? This is because by adopting a cashless economy, we become equal. We also become developed in that we become like the developed nations, whereby if we become equal with them, we won't have to depend on them on foreign aids and grants, and thus there will be interdependence between us and them, therefore making the world a global village and a better place for us to live in. Are you not aware that in South Africa, they are using a cashless economy? It is because of that they are considered a developed country in Africa. It is change that we want to accept here. Change is possible, it is permanent, and it is a process. We are not saying that you are going to adopt that cashless economy right now. What we are saying is that you are going to take it, and by use of a process, you are going to adapt it and become fully in use with it. Are you not aware that Nigeria also at one time wanted to adopt the cashless economy? And in Sweden, are you not aware that the banks in Sweden charge you when you withdraw your money, or they also charge you when you have your bank account? And that is for you. I have a rhetorical question for you that I don't need an answer. Are you afraid of change? Are you afraid of development? Thank you.
opposition will hear your rebuttal. You have 3 minutes as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply saddened by the fact that my able opponents clearly stated that Eurobond is missing. Kenya knows that. The government knows it's missing, but does not know the people who took part in that. For a start, we think about it. How did the transaction take place? Did they ferry the money on ships? I believe not. They used a cashless system in order to bring the money to Kenya, Eurobond. Yeah, it passed through the banks. But now we cannot trace the money, probably because there were hackers who hacked the system, and now we cannot trace the money. Those are all effects of a cashless system. My name is Franklin Mwangi, and I am from Starehe. And this evening, it is quite saddening to know that we are really wanting to implement this cashless system. But in fact, corruption in Africa, it's slowly killing our country. Take, for example, in our own country, Kenya. We have the NYS saga, the Eurobond. The list is endless. And yet we want to say that we want to put up cashless system. It will be another saga, more or less to say. Corruption is a very big obstacle for us as a country, for us as a continent, African continent, to develop. Corruption is in every sector, and I do believe in the process of implementing a cashless system, corruption will still be a major factor. Now, I have a friend of mine. He's called Mr. Koech. As we are speaking, he's living in abject poverty. Mr. Koech, a while ago, was a very rich man. He used to live in Muthaiga. He used to own a very huge property, and used to drive a Chrysler. You know why? Now he's very living in abject poverty. And what I'm trying to put across is a simple point. Mr. Koech made a mistake of taking a mortgage, and he was supposed to pay that mortgage on some 24 hours. The auctioneers were at his doorstep claiming the money. Fortunately or unfortunately, he had put all his life savings onto M-Pesa. It is cashless. And he was just remaining with 200 shillings balance in order to complete his loan. What happened? The M-Pesa failed. As it also happens quite often, they fail occasionally. The cashless transfer system, it fails. And so, everything was taken away from him. He is now living in poverty, and he cannot fend for himself or for his family. Take, for example, as a continent, we are crying foul every now and then that we have unemployment rates. They're skyrocketing, in fact. And what is the root cause? It is because we do not know how to manage our economy. We do not know how to create employment opportunities. But now implementing a cashless system, we're taking away the little that we have. Implementing a cashless system means that we're taking away jobs. We're taking away jobs from bankers to the people who print money, to the accountants. It is disorienting the whole system. My fellow sisters, I beg to differ. Cashless means is not the way forward. Let us stick with hard cash. As after all, we work for it and we enjoy it. I mean, who does not enjoy seeing 1,000 shillings in their pocket? Simple.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
The proposers were asked to specify on why Nigeria was unable to adopt the cashless systems, and the opposition have been challenged to give us alternatives to cashless systems of payment in the future. We'll have them respond. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Now, let me start by answering the question from my fellow Kenyan over there who has just asked us why Nigeria was not able to develop by using a cashless economy. Let me tell you, my dear friend, we have South Africa, and it is in Africa, and it it applied the cashless economy, and right now it is regarded as a developed country, if you don't know. And if all the other countries in Africa were wise enough, they will seek for advice from South Africa and get to understand how they use the cashless economy and the ideas they applied. And I'm sure that we will move to we will be more developed even than the current developed countries. Now, before I go to my points, I want to correct my fellow Kenyans over here. First, the second opposer said that M-Pesa is a form of a cashless economy. Oh, please. Are you serious? When someone sends you money through M-Pesa, you go and withdraw and you're given a tangible money. So don't try to convince us here that M-Pesa is a form of a cashless economy. Now, again, he said that by use of a cashless economy, there will be the hackers will be able to get into the system, and that concerns the Eurobond. And he said that maybe there were hackers who, I don't know, did what. I didn't hear him well, but I can say that this is due to being some kind of computer illiterate. As a computer student, I'm aware of a skill called audit trail. Now, audit trail is whereby an expert is called. For there to be a hacker, there must be a weak point. In audit trail, an expert is called to look for a weak point where a hacker can be able to hack. And so the expert comes and looks for all weak points and is able to block them. So maybe the Eurobond got lost because maybe they did not know that particular computer skill. And then the first opposer said that most of Africans are illiterate. Well, let me tell you something. Even in those developed countries, not all citizens over there were literate. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So those who are illiterate in Africa, we can start by helping them to be literate. You know how. Now, onto my first point. There is a reason why I'm advocating for a cashless economy. Why? One, drug trafficking will reduce. For example, let me assume that I am a drug dealer, and then in my account I have 20 million, and then all of a sudden 50 million. 50 million has just gotten into my account, and maybe the past 5 years, there has never been a certain amount of money entering into my account. There'll be investigations how this amount of money just got in. But if I was using cash, what will happen? Maybe I was paid 50 million, I take 20 to cooperative, 20 to equity, 20 to KCB, then nobody will ever know I am a drug dealer. Another point. It avoids money hoarding. For example, I'm working in the UK, I come with £1,000, and then I know that in Kenya, a pound right now is 130 shillings. So what I will do, I will wait until it goes to 160 shillings, and then I remove the money. Instead, maybe I would have removed the money a while ago, and the money will be invested in businesses. So, my fellow Kenyans, don't waste time opposing this motion, because it is quite evident that a cashless economy will help us in leapfrogging the developed countries. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond.
I loved what the third proposal was saying. This is because when I got the stats about the 38% who are illiterate, I did not believe it. I just did. Not all the illiterate, not all those who are illiterate, or rather, not all who are literate are computer literate. Let's take the example of my mother. She's not good with the computer, but she knows how to read and write. That is literacy. So what I am saying is simply that there are more people who are computer illiterate and cannot understand the cashless system. Now, one of them said that she will reduce the cost of purchase by using a cashless system. Now, look at this. M-Pesa. I sent you money. I have to pay for that service. I come to your house, I give you this. There is no cost. So the cost of purchase is increased by using a cashless system. One of them also said that Nigeria wanted to move to a cashless system. Really? Why didn't they? They didn't have the funds. So this simply means that African countries, Nigeria being one of the top, cannot afford this. Take the example of Central African Republic. They cannot afford this because they are worse off than Nigeria. Now, to the question. The question was,
the cashless system is the future. But why should we abandon the good that we have in the name of embracing the future? We have embraced social media. We have embraced the Western culture. And what has this brought? Erosion of our own culture and depletion of morals in our society. Now, if something is bad and it is of the future, you do not have to accept it. If it did not exist in the old, it is not a must. Now, to my point, Physics 101. When you transform a solid into a liquid, the particles simply space out more. Now, in hacking, if I happen to hack servers and I take your money, it will be harder to join the dots than if I come to your bank, I rob you, I leave their fingerprints. Someone will see my face. There's a CCTV camera. But if it's a cashless system, I simply take my laptop, I have my fingers. I'm well aware of Python, a programming language. I just hack into your account, no traces. I block the traces. VPN, virtual private network. Now, VPN is recently in the nation, last year, there was an Android application called VPN to Go. People used this to access free internet access, but was this internet really free? What simply did was VPN is where someone takes someone else's data and it redirects the signal such that you think the person stealing your internet is from China, well, he's your neighbor. This is what will happen when there's a cashless system. I'll steal your money, I'm next to you, you'll never know. I'm in China, that's what you think. Thank you.
Closing statements now. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
All of you might have observed me. Each and every time I was seated there, I was wiping away my tears. Back in 2007, post-election violence, as we all remember, very many lives were lost. Why? Some people somewhere were paid using cash so that they can go around killing. All of you can bear me witness to that. Now, if back then we were using debit cards, will someone come and give you a debit card to kill someone else? Maybe you're not even aware of debit cards. Now, if we were using debit cards, I'm very sure no lives will have been lost because, for example, in Kenya, the key thing that makes people to commit other things or evils is because of cash, by the way. It is cash, money. Now, you know we are in digital life. You know, tangible money, for example, in Zimbabwe, it has lost a value. You can imagine myself, I can't even imagine myself going to a supermarket with a paper bag full of money and calling myself digital. Are you serious? Really? My fellow Starehe boys, let's just open our eyes and look at the reality of things. It will reduce, even for example, in their elections, the politicians won't use money to go and they come and bribe you. We will have good leaders because there's no money to waste on people so that they may vote for you. Let us open our eyes. We don't want you to tell us which countries are using cash. Please give us why we should employ a cash. Give us reasons why we should employ a cashless economy. Thank you.
Opposition, you have a minute as well.
Son, grandson, you never send me money. You left me alone. You never send me money at all. You don't call me. So I took the initiative and bought my grandma an iPad after complaining for long. I called her the first time. I didn't find her. The second time, she was off. So I decided to call the CEO of homekeeping at my place. As you know her, the house help. The first time I called, she wasn't there. The second time, I couldn't find her well. The third time I talked to her, I couldn't get her well. The last time, I got her. Okay, hello. Then she was like, I'm sorry, the last time you had blackouts, there was a poor network, so I couldn't really reach you well. And by the way, did you hear, have you heard about the new chopping board that your grandma has? I was curious, which chopping board? I took the initiative. I went to my place. I went to my grandma's place. I heard her merrily sing the benga she enjoys as she was comfortably slicing onions. Then I went to the kitchen. I was, Granny, where's the new chop? To my surprise, guess what? The iPad was the chopping board. Swoosh, she saw me and threw it to the sink. And how many more of my grandmas are around?
Sophia, good definition of terms when you come over. You know, you look very confident, especially when you come to the stage. Good submissions. However, I think you needed to organize yourself because we noticed at some point you took some break and you were like, what is this? Okay? Just total organizing yourself, and sometimes even practice. It will always help you so that you're not intimidated. And of course, utilize your time fully. And I think if you just now as well work on your style and presentation, you know, you're a good speaker. Just use style and presentation so that now you can even connect with the audience. Remember, debate is all about persuasion. You need to attract the attention of the audience as well. Okay? Kennedy, good start for the team. Good speaker as well. You know, I love your analogy as well when you came across to give it on. Good submission, very confident speaker. Good introduction of the fact that you mentioned about illiteracy being a challenge, and the use of the visual aid, the cash that you talked about, which is very nice as well. Franklin, good speaker as well. Yes, you were there. I must confess, I had a bit of a challenge sometimes following you through. I think it's because of some of the posters that you're putting in across, but at least I managed to follow you. So I want to wish the two teams a good ending and say that we were happy by what you did. All the best.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Starehe Boys Center, Parklands Arya Girls. Parklands, you were awarded 64%. Please give them a round of applause. Starehe Boys Center, you were awarded 70%. You are our winners for this debate.
Good job to both teams, and of course, especially congratulations to Starehe Boys. Thank you for watching. Do keep watching and follow us on all our social media platforms. On Twitter, we can be found at Great Debaters EA. I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Catch you next debate.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.